Speaker Renner, House Judiciary staff, the Florida Alliance Against Human Trafficking, and my co-sponsor, Representative Yarkowski, I'm honored to present House Bill 7045, Human Trafficking, Prostitution, and Lewdness. The bill addresses several areas within human trafficking and prostitution. Please note these areas include both labor and sex trafficking. The areas addressed include increasing penalties for adult theater owners that do not comply with employment regulations, providing for a civil cause of action for victims of trafficking, judicial circuit training for offenders associated with solicitation, and the creation of a statewide database for sex trafficking. Those last two items is why we are here. That is the fiscal, and members, that is the bill.
Thank you, Representative Overdorf. There are no amendments. Is there any, are there any questions on the bill? Members, are there any questions on the bill? Seeing no questions on the bill, is there any public testimony? First up, Kristen Whitaker waves in support. Next up, Carissa Phelps, a proponent of the bill, wishes to speak. Ms. Phelps, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you and Representative Overdorf and Representative Yarkowski for just having this opportunity to speak, both as a survivor and an attorney. I feel like there's so much more that could be done for survivors, not just in this state, but in this country and globally. So we're taking a step in that direction by offering them this opportunity. And I feel that we're doing whatever is in our power now today to put into this bill a way for survivors to be heard and to no longer be shamed with their stories. Because for too long, and really for our entire history, survivors didn't have the opportunity like I have to come and share my story. Even when I started law school, began law school, I did not share my story openly. I was very nervous and afraid of judgment and shame and all the things that would come with it. I was trafficked at the age of 12, and I was described by many people as a child prostitute, and that did not make sense. So I thank all of you for how far we've come in terms of calling this what it is, which is human trafficking, which is harms done to an individual. What survivors have in labor trafficking and sex trafficking in terms of federal legislation is something that I'm working on now, filing cases, civil cases on behalf of victims who have basically become commoditized by so many other businesses, not just a trafficker offending them and hurting them and selling them, but all the businesses that benefit from that. So we are looking at websites, at apps, at hotel and lodging, at transportation, at financial institutions that both serve the trafficker and serve the buyer, and then also continue to re-exploit and trap a victim in this cycle. So we're looking at all the different businesses that could be held accountable. It's not only hotel and lodging, there's a wide range of businesses that could be held liable. And what I'm realizing working with more and more survivors, because I'm only one survivor here speaking, is that there are so many injuries that are unseen, so many things that we don't see, that we don't realize that survivors have to live with on a daily basis. Physical injuries, injuries not just to their body, but to their mental, emotional, community harms, the social impact. I don't know if you ever were harmed, but if somebody harmed you in public and then ignored you, and then you were hurt again and again and again, and then asked to pay for another night at a hotel or for another listing or ad on a website, it can make you feel so inhuman and so disconnected from society. So with this bill and with the work that we're doing, we humanize survivors again. We allow them and victims to have their day in court, to be able to speak up for themselves, to be able to say what's happened in their lives. And I just want to leave you with three things in terms of hope and looking forward. And that is, there's so much more to understand about human trafficking. If you think we're done yet, we are just beginning. So all of what you're deciding in terms of that research and data, to me, is so critical and important. And it's so critical and important that we hear from survivors in that research and data as well, to see how we're serving them. So there's so much more that we could be awoken to, that we can understand once we have that information and data. And I just hope that you feel and are truly convicted and believe that we can do something, that we could change the status quo, that it doesn't have to be anymore, that that's the hotel where girls are purchased, that's the place where people are taken and sold. We don't have to have that in every community. It just does not need to exist. It does not serve individuals or society. And finally, that we all have the capacity and really the commitment to see this through, because it's not going to be changed overnight, not in a single community, not in the state of Florida, not in the United States. This is going to take time. And the next time that I come to Tallahassee, my hope is there's a whole team of survivors behind me. There are more people speaking up and speaking out, and that will be testament to this bill working. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Phelps. Thank you for sharing your story. We'll now move on to debate. Members, is there any debate? Is there any debate? Seeing no debate, Representative Skidmore, you're recognized in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Rep. Overdorf. I know you and I have talked about this issue and some other things that still need to be addressed, but the public testimony is so jarring. I can't imagine a more important piece of legislation that we could consider during this very weird legislative session. This is incredibly important, what you're doing, and I know you have spent a lot of time and a lot of work in Rep. Yarkowski. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it, but I'm sure you have helped lift this heavy load, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving all these victims a voice and an opportunity, and for cracking down on this incredibly inhumane crime. And I look forward to working with you as you move forward and find other ways that we can eradicate this disease from our state, and appreciate all of the work that you've done so far.
Is there any further debate? Members, is there any further debate? Seeing no further debate, I'll just say very briefly, Representative Overdorf, Representative Yarkowski, you go home at night, you wonder whether you've done a good job. This is good work. Representative Yarkowski, you're recognized to close on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. I'll be brief here, but I think it's important to say a couple things as a freshman lawmaker. I want to thank Chairman Gregory and Representative Overdorf for not only their leadership and wisdom, but their passion. It's an honor to be part of this. So thank you for including me and allowing me to work on this. And I just thank Ashley Moody and her staff. They've been fantastic. And of course, the Speaker's office. I say often that, the most fundamental and important function of government is public safety, because without law and order, what do we really have in this country? And to piggyback off of what you said, Chairman, there's nothing in what you said, Rep. Skidmore, there's nothing more righteous that we could do as lawmakers than protect victims of human trafficking, which are oftentimes children. And I got to specifically thank the victims. We heard from one today. My friend Savannah, who lives in Lake County, she couldn't be here. You heard her testimony. Without them, they're the fuel for why we're here. And the fact that they have the courage to come here and tell that story, it chokes me up. It used to get me more emotional. Now I just get angry when I hear these things. And I just think, how is this happening in our great state? And as Florida goes, the rest of the country goes. We know that. So I ask you today for your favorable vote so we can continue to move the ball forward here. And to piggyback off of what she said a minute ago when she testified, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is a start, and we're going to keep coming back until we eradicate this and do what is right. This is not politics. This is people. This is humanity. And again, I ask for your vote so we can end this horrible, heinous crime in this state. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Representative Yarkowski, having closed on the bill, Cheryl, will you please call the roll?
Chair Leak,
Yes.
Vice Chair McClure, Committee Whip Mooney, Ranking Member Driscoll,
Yes.
Representatives Altman,
Yes.
Andrade,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Benjamin,
Yes.
Brannon,
Yes.
Rosado Cabrera,
Yes.
Cheney,
Yes.
Fine, Garrison,
Yes.
Gottlieb,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Gregory,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Hunchowski,
Yes.
Joseph, Masulo,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Perez, Rommel,
Yes.
Sosman,
Yes.
Schoaf, Silvers,
Yes.
Skidmore,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Tomko, Williams,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Thank you, members. By your vote, the bill passes. Please show HB 7045 reported favorably.
Thank you, members.